Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I will share with you my collaboration challenge with my BFF Sintang Mayumi. This time we will play with Spellbinders Die Heart Kit of the Month. This is the small die of the month, which is called Ikaboo, and the large die of the month, which is called Game of Gnomes. This set has a lot of intricate dies and it required a lot of die cutting. So I'll just show you the 3 cards I made using this card kit. So let's start. So for my first card, I will be using the small die of the month. This has a lot of the dice that includes the costumes for the kids. And this one I am die cutting the first template, which is a ghost pattern. I'm using a black cardstock for this one. And then this one I will be using the Tim Holtz and Ranger Distress Collection Coordinations cardstock. It's like a set of strips of cardstock that has a lot of beautiful colors. And then I'm using my C6 Sidekick to die cut all the elements that I will be needing for this first card. I will speed up some parts of this video because I die cut a lot of small dice to save time. I used scraps of cardstock from my stash, which really made me so happy. And then for the face of the little kids here, I am using my Copic markers, and the colors I use are shown across the screen. So I just try to blend those colors to create the skin tone of the kids on this card. So after coloring these cute faces, I will start my assembly using my glitter glue. I sped this up as well because it's mostly repetitive, and I'm sure you've seen a lot of this set made already. And you can really get creative with this. For my card, I used the red cardstock to create the cute little devil costume. And for the other one, I used a blue and white cardstock to create the costume of the one with the skeleton. I am planning to put these two beside the one I die cut earlier from the black cardstock for the ghost template. And now here I will be doing a shaker card, so I just place an acetate behind the die cut ghost that I made earlier. So it will look like 3 friends holding hands and on their way to trick or treat. So here I'm just coloring some of the hands and the arms of the other trick-or-treater here, and then I will just glue it on the back side of that blue character. So here I think I'm just gonna trim some parts of the arms of the ghost character because it went past the acetate, so I'm just trimming that down. And then I'm gonna start gluing these characters on my black card panel. I will be using again my glitter glue and put an acrylic block on top until it dries. And this one I'm placing also the pumpkin basket for our trick-or-treaters. And then I will be using this Recollection 6x6 paper pad I got from Michaels, and I chose the gold and white web pattern for my background. And now I'm putting some double-sided tape at the back of the black cardstock panel that I created earlier, making sure I have space for the sequins that I will be putting for my shaker element. But first I use my powder tool to prevent static before I place the black and orange sequins that I got from Michaels. And then I'll remove the release paper from the double-sided tape I'll cover the shaker part with white cardstock and put my glitter glue, and then adhere this entire panel to my background pattern paper. So now you can see the shaker element on the middle part of my card. So for my sentiment, I will use another white cardstock, and I will be using this Recollections Halloween sentiment that I got from Michaels from last year. I chose the words trick or treat, and I will be stamping this with VersaFine Clear. And actually I will heat emboss this one, and I'll use a clear embossing powder and heat it with my Wagner heat tool, and I will cut this strip using a Lawn Fawn banner die, and then I'll just adhere this one with foam tape and adhere this just below the 3 characters. And then I'll just add some more sequins on my front panel using the same sequins I used for my shaker, and I'll just randomly put a lot across the panel. And then for the inside of my card, I will use another white cardstock and stamp a sentiment that says "Have a spooky Halloween," and add some pumpkin on the side. And then I'll just adhere this inside using glitter glue. And that finishes off my card. I had fun creating this one. So this is my card number 1. For my card number 2, I will be using the large die set of the month, which is the Game of Gnomes, and I'll be using scraps of cardstock, blue, black, and some tan color, and of course my C6 sidekick. And I'll just keep die cutting all the elements that I will be needing for this card. So here I'm just showing you a sped up assembly of the elements of my card. I have to speed this up because there's a lot of small dice that need to be attached, and it took me a longer time to do this one. So for my background panel, I will be using a white Bristol Smooth cardstock and this Distress Oxide ink, the Broken China, and then this Hero Arts Cloud Stencil. And I'm using an ink blending tool for this, and I added Salty Ocean Distress Oxide ink to add some contrast to the clouds. And now I'm cutting this to an A2 size panel, and then I will be using this Gina Marie Design Peekaboo rectangle die to create a border around my panel. And I think my video got cut off because it didn't show the ones when I placed an acetate behind that Peekaboo rectangle die cut that I created. Here I'm just showing you the acetate that I placed there, and now I'm trying to figure out where to place everything. And then I'll start attaching all these elements on the front panel of my card. So this one, the cute big mushroom, and then the little one as well. And then I think I got a small sentiment from an old stamp set from a magazine, a UK magazine, and it reads, "There's no place like gnome." So I'm just using my VersaFine Clear ink to stamp that inside, which is on the cloud blended background, before I put my front panel, which is the acetate part of this card. So I have a double-sided foam tape again. It's like creating a shaker card, but this is actually not a shaker card. I just wanted some dimension, so I did put double-sided foam tape around that border. And this cute little guy will be holding a sign. And I couldn't find a smaller stamp sentiment to put on the sign, so I just wrote, or I wrote welcome home using black pen. And now I'm attaching the sign on this little gnome's hand. I'm planning to give this to my sister who just bought a home. So it says welcome home. And I'm using some jewels and some sequins from Ink Road stamps and Kindred stamps. So instead of putting it as a shaker element on this card, I will permanently attach this sequins and these jewels on the inside panel of this card. So there will be no shaker element, just some shine and shimmer for this card. So now I'm attaching the gnome. And then I'm now ready to remove the release paper from the foam tapes and then attach this panel on the background panel. So for final touch, I will use my Spectrum Noir glitter pen to add additional shimmer and shine. So I will just randomly put shimmer on the mushroom, on the gnome. And finally, I will be attaching this finished panel to a side folding blue card base. I'll use my glitter glue for this. And that finishes off my card. This is my card number 2. And for my final card, I'm back at using the small die set of the month, and I am using a Derice embossing folder called Googly Eyes and a dark red cardstock panel. And look how fun and cute this embossed panel turned out. And then I am using a Distress Oxide black suit and an ink blending tool to ink the border around the embossed panel to create a spooky feel. And then with a glitter cardstock, I will die cut the sentiment that says Ikaboo. And I also die cut 3 pairs of leg dies, and I use my dark Copic, gray Copic marker on the leg die cuts to create a green and black striped socks for the legs. And then after this, I attach all the shoe die cuts to the legs and then attach them all to the 3 ghost characters. As you can see here, the 3 ghost characters I die cut from a white cardstock. And now I have this strip of vellum that I'm planning to use for my sentiment Ikaboo. I'm just gonna be using my glitter glue to attach all the words, all the letters on that vellum. And I have this small googly eyes pack that I got from Michaels before, and I am just attaching this to the ghost characters to create a fun and interactive element on this card. So I also die cut some arms from a white cardstock to add to the ghost characters. And here I'm just attaching those arms to the ghost, and then I will add some double up foam tape on the middle character so it will have dimension, but the other 2 on the sides will be attached directly to the embossed panel. And then I also add that cute tiny pumpkin basket to the middle character, like he's holding it. And then for my sentiment I will just fold over the vellum and put some washi tape to hold it. And I have a black cardstock here that I'll use for my card base. It's gonna be A2 size as well. I'll use my ATG gun and glitter glue to attach this panel to my card base. And finally, I'll add some sequins and beads to this panel using a sequin mix from Kindred Stamps, and I will randomly attach sequins and beads on this panel. And then I'll use a Spectrum Noir pen to add some shimmer on the ghost characters, and my card is finished. This is my card number 3. These are the 3 cards I made using this Die Hard club kit from Spellbinders. I hope you enjoyed this video. I don't usually make Halloween cards, but I had fun making these. Hope you stop by Sintang Mayumi's channel and check out the cards she made with this kit. Thank you again for watching and see you next time. Bye!